Welcome to Money Awareness. Whether you're just starting your financial journey or looking for ways to finally break free from the paycheck to paycheck cycle, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the silent traps that quietly drain your wallet, and more importantly, how you can avoid them. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to take the first step toward greater financial freedom and peace of mind. Alright, so let's get right into it. You get paid, but somehow you're broke again before the month ends. Sound familiar? You're not alone. It's this crazy cycle, right? The money comes in, you see that balance in your account looking healthy for a hot minute, and you think, okay, this month is going to be different. You've got plans, you've got goals, but then life happens. A bill here, an unexpected expense there, maybe a few too many takeout orders because you were just too tired to cook. We've all been there. And before you know it, you're staring at your bank account, wondering where it all went, anxiously waiting for that next deposit to hit. This isn't just bad luck, and it's not always about not earning enough, believe it or not. So many people fall into these almost invisible financial pitfalls that just suck the money right out of their accounts. It's like quicksand for your cash. You're working hard, you're putting in the hours, but your financial situation just isn't reflecting that effort. You might even be earning more than you ever have before, yet you feel just as squeezed, if not more so. It's frustrating, and honestly, it can be incredibly demotivating when you're trying your best to get ahead. Today, we're exposing 5 sneaky money traps that are draining your wallet, and how to break free from them. We're going to break down exactly what these traps are, how they quietly sabotage your financial goals, and most importantly, I'm going to give you some real actionable strategies that you can start implementing, like today, to take back control. Because here's the thing, understanding these traps is the absolute first step to building real sustainable wealth and finally breaking that paycheck to paycheck cycle for good. So, grab a coffee, maybe a notepad, because you're going to want to take some notes on this one. First up, let's talk about something I call the paycheck illusion. This is a really subtle one, but man, it gets so many people. Here's the scenario. You get a raise at work, maybe a new job with a better salary. Awesome, right? You're thinking, finally, I'm going to have more money, I can save more, invest more, get ahead. But then, something funny happens. A few months down the line, you look at your savings, and it's pretty much the same as before. Or worse, you're somehow even more stressed about money. It's like that extra income just vanished into thin air. This happens because, almost unconsciously, our spending tends to rise to meet our new income. It's a psychological trap where more money and often just means more money out unless you're super intentional. Think about it. That raise hits your account and suddenly that slightly nicer apartment doesn't seem like such a stretch. Or maybe you decide it's time to upgrade your car because, hey, you can afford the slightly higher monthly payment now, right? Those daily expensive coffees become a habit, you start eating out more often, or you justify more expensive hobbies. Each individual increase in spending might seem small and justifiable on its own, a little reward for your hard work. But collectively, they completely absorb that extra income, leaving you in the exact same financial position, just with a slightly fancier lifestyle and often more commitments. You're running faster on the hamster wheel, but you're not actually getting anywhere closer to your financial freedom goals. So, how do you combat this? The key is to disconnect your spending habits from your income level, at least to a significant degree. Instead of just letting your spending float upwards, you need to be proactive. The best way I've found to do this is to set percentage-based savings and investment goals. For example, commit to saving or investing, say, 20% of your gross income, or 15%, or whatever percentage works for you, but challenges you. The magic of this approach is that as your income increases, the actual dollar amount you save also automatically increases, without you having to consciously decide to save more. It scales with your success. Make that savings transfer the very first thing you do on payday. Pay yourself first, before the lifestyle creep even has a chance to notice there's extra cash lying around. This brings us directly to our second money trap, which is a very close cousin to the paycheck illusion lifestyle creep. This one is insidious, folks. It's the gradual, often unnoticed increase in your spending on non-essential items or upgraded versions of things you already have, simply because your income has gone up. It's not about suddenly buying a Lamborghini, though that would be an extreme example. It's about the small, incremental upgrades that slowly become your new normal, your new baseline. And before you know it, what used to be a luxury is now considered a necessity in your mind, making it incredibly hard to cut back later if you need to, or if you simply want to accelerate your savings. Let me give you some classic examples. You get a small pay bump, so you upgrade your perfectly good smartphone to the latest model, even though yours is only a year old and works fine. Or you start subscribing to more streaming services because, well, you can afford an extra 10 or 15 bucks a month, right? Maybe you move from a decent apartment to a slightly larger one in a trendier neighborhood, adding a few $100s to your rent. Or your wardrobe slowly gets filled with more expensive brands. None of these decisions feel like a big deal in isolation. They feel like a natural progression, a reward for your hard work. But lifestyle creep is like a leaky faucet. Those small, consistent drips add up to a massive amount of wasted water, or in this case, wasted money, over time. The best defense against lifestyle creep is conscious, deliberate spending. One strategy I really like is creating what I call a luxury list or a future upgrade fund. If you want that fancier car or the latest tech gadget or those designer shoes, put it on the list. Then, actively save up for it in a separate account specifically for that item. The rule is you only buy it when you can pay for it in cash from that dedicated savings, without derailing your regular savings and investment goals, and without using debt. This does a couple of things. It forces you to really consider if you want the item badly enough to save for it, and it ensures that your lifestyle upgrades are happening with intention, using money you've consciously allocated, rather than just mindlessly absorbing your raises. It builds discipline and keeps your baseline expenses manageable. All right, let's dive into trap number 3, emotional spending. Oh boy, this one is a biggie for so many of us because it's tied, as the name suggests, directly to our feelings. We're talking about retail therapy after a tough day at work, boredom shopping when you're just scrolling endlessly online, or even revenge spending. That feeling of, I deserve this after a period of deprivation or stress. It's when you use shopping not to acquire something you genuinely need or have thoughtfully planned for, but as a way to cope with, distract from, or temporarily alter your emotional state. The problem is, the relief it provides is usually fleeting, but the impact on your wallet can be long-lasting and pretty damaging. Picture this. It's 11 p.m., you've had a rotten day, your boss was a nightmare, or you had an argument with someone. You're scrolling through Instagram or Amazon, and suddenly, that targeted ad for something you don't really need but kinda want pops up. In that moment, clicking add to cart and buy now feels like a small act of rebellion, a tiny dopamine hit, a way to exert some control or get a little bit of instant gratification. You might feel a brief sense of excitement or satisfaction, but then, a few days later, the package arrives. The initial thrill has worn off, and you're left with an item you might not even use much, and a slightly lighter bank account, possibly tinged with a bit of buyer's remorse. This cycle can be incredibly hard to break because it's driven by impulse and emotion, not logic. So, what's the antidote to emotional spending? My favorite strategy is implementing a strict cooling-off period for any non-essential purchases, especially those you feel an emotional urge to buy. Make it a rule. If you see something you want, you have to wait at least 48 hours before you can actually purchase it. Put it in your online cart, write it down on a list, whatever you need to do, but don't buy it immediately. During those 48 hours, the initial emotional trigger often subsides. You get a chance to think more rationally about whether you truly need the item, if it fits your budget, and if it aligns with your long-term financial goals. More often than not, you'll find that the urge passes, or you realize you can live without it. This simple habit can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year by helping you differentiate between genuine wants and impulsive, emotion-driven desires. Let's move on to a relatively newer but incredibly sneaky money trap, the allure of buy now, pay later services. You've seen them everywhere: Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, and a dozen others. They pop up at the checkout of your favorite online stores, offering to split your purchase into 4 easy, interest-free payments. It sounds so tempting, right? Instead of dropping, say, $200 on those new sneakers all at once, you only have to pay $50 today? It makes expensive items much more affordable and accessible, and that's precisely where the danger lies. It lowers the psychological barrier to spending, encouraging you to buy things you might have hesitated on if you had to pay the full price up front. The problem with these services is how quickly those small payments can stack up. You make one purchase with a BNPL plan, then another, then another. Each individual payment plan might seem manageable, $20 here, $30 there. But before you know it, you've got multiple payment schedules running simultaneously, and suddenly a significant chunk of your monthly income is tied up in repaying these little debts. It's like death by 1,000 cuts for your budget. And while many offer interest-free periods, if you miss a payment or can't keep up, you can get hit with late fees, and some services do charge interest, especially for larger purchases or longer repayment terms. It's a slippery slope from perceived convenience to actual debt. My advice here is to treat buy now, pay later options with the same caution you would or should treat a credit card. They a form of credit, a loan, even if they don't always feel like it. Only use them if it's absolutely necessary for an essential purchase that you genuinely cannot afford upfront, but have a concrete plan to pay off without derailing other financial obligations. And if you do use them, track those balances meticulously. Know exactly how much you owe, to whom, and when each payment is due. Don't let the ease of signing up blind you to the fact that you're still taking on debt. Often, if you can't afford to buy it outright with cash you have now, it's a sign you should probably wait and save up for it instead of kicking the financial can down the road. And finally, the fifth money trap, which is arguably the foundation for avoiding many others, avoiding the budget. I know the word budget can sound restrictive, boring, or even scary to some people. It conjures up images of spreadsheets and deprivation, but here's the reality. Operating without a budget is like trying to navigate a ship in the middle of the ocean without a map or a compass. You're essentially flying blind with your finances. You have no real idea where your money is actually going each month, which makes it impossible to make informed decisions, identify problem areas, or proactively work towards your financial goals. You're just hoping for the best, and hope is not a strategy. Think about it. Do you know, down to the dollar, how much you spent on groceries last month versus dining out? Or how much all those little monthly subscriptions, streaming services, gym memberships you don't use, software trials you forgot to cancel, are actually costing you? For most people who don't budget, the answer is a resounding no. They might have a vague idea, but the actual numbers are often a shocking surprise when they finally see them written down. These unmonitored expenses, especially the variable ones like food, entertainment, and miscellaneous shopping, are where your money silently disappears. Without tracking, you can't see the leaks in your financial boat, and you certainly can't plug them. The good news is, budgeting doesn't have to be complicated or painful. We live in an age of incredible tools designed to make it easier. There are fantastic apps out there like Mint, YNAB, You Need a Budget, Personal Capital, or even just a simple spreadsheet template in Google Sheets or Excel can do the trick. The key is to find a system that works for you and to commit to tracking your income and expenses, ideally on a weekly basis to start. Just the act of seeing where your money is going creates awareness. This awareness is powerful. It allows you to identify areas where you might be overspending, find opportunities to save, and consciously redirect your money towards the things that truly matter to you, like paying off debt, saving for a down payment, or investing for your future. A budget isn't a restriction, it's a roadmap to financial freedom. So there you have it, 5 of the sneakiest money traps that could be sabotaging your efforts to get ahead financially. We've covered the paycheck illusion, the dangers of lifestyle creep, the pitfalls of emotional spending, the deception of buy now, pay later schemes, and the critical mistake of avoiding a budget. Recognizing these traps is genuinely half the battle, because once you see them, you can start to consciously sidestep them. It's about understanding the psychology behind your spending and making more intentional choices with your hard-earned cash. If any of these money traps sound familiar, don't stress. It's about progress, not perfection. Seriously, don't beat yourself up if you've fallen into one or more of these. Most of us have at some point. The important thing is what you do, that you have this awareness. You don't need to overhaul your entire financial life overnight because that's overwhelming and rarely sustainable. Instead, focus on making small, incremental changes. Pick just one of these traps that resonated with you the most and commit to implementing one strategy to combat it this week. Maybe it's setting up that 48-hour cooling-off rule or downloading a budgeting app and just tracking your spending for 7 days. Little wins build momentum, And that momentum is what will carry you towards a much healthier financial future where you're in control of your money, not the other way around. It's about building habits that serve your long-term goals. Start with one change this week. Subscribe for more real talk about money that actually makes sense. I'm here to help you navigate this stuff, cut through the noise, and give you the practical advice you need. Thanks so much for watching. Smash that like button if you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.